Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my Facebook Lives. I have been MIA for way too long, more than 6 months. And for those that were very loyal followers, I apologize. I went through some major changes in my world. I had been out of work for about 14 months. I got a short-term contract in August. And our acreage property that we had listed in June finally sold, and with real quick turnaround. So the month of October was just total chaos, trying to pack, move, downsize, all that good kind of stuff. And then the property we bought needed renovations. So that meant I had no space. I don't think I even had a chair to sit on for like 3 weeks while we were having flooring and all that other good stuff done. And then I got another opportunity for a contract, which ended up being a permanent full-time position. And so now my stamping is reduced to evenings and weekends, but that doesn't mean I can't come and share with you. And I totally appreciate you giving me a piece of your time when you're here. If you are here, please shout out and say hello. I would love to acknowledge that you're here. Also, one of my delays in coming live had been a huge issue with some technology, and a huge shout out to Kevin Esty, who helped me work through my problems and get me back online, I guess, lack of a better word. I had to change my email address, a whole bunch of things, technical things that I'm not particularly comfortable with. And so it just really made me a little bit crazy. So anyway, I'm here. I hope you are going to enjoy what I have to share with you today. I am going to share with you more the paper than the stamps and dies themselves from an early release and a limited edition product that we have available to us. It is Waves of Inspiration, or is the stamp set, and then there are coordinating dies. So let me turn you around here and we can get going on what I want to share with you. Oops. Oh, and I'm a little out of practice, so please forgive me. Let me change my video so you can see my hands instead of my face. Here we go. All right, so we are going to work with Waves of Inspiration and the coordinating dies, although I am not going to use the dies today. I will reintroduce them in another live for you, but you can see these beautiful wave dies coordinate with this beautiful stamp set. There's also, it's not here, as I have it set out for another project. There's a die that cuts out this pelican, some labels, some clouds, some amazing things. So I'm just going to set those aside, and I'm going to set this aside. The other thing I want to talk to you before I actually get into the projects that we're going to create, bear with me a moment. I just need to check my Facebook feed so that I can see if anybody's commenting. I always have trouble with this because it doesn't tell me I'm live, and I'm not sure I'm live. I hope I'm live. If you see me, please say something. I'm not getting notifications that my live feed is working. I don't know if my live feed is, oh, there it is. There it is. It says I'm working. So now I should be able, there we go. Okay, yay. Out of practice. So the dies in the stamp set are our new early release product for our new catalog that we as demonstrators got to see on Wednesday, and will be available to customers in early May, sorry. But they introduced some coordinating product, this beautiful foil package. There's silver, night and navy, and oh gosh, Coastal Cabana 2 sheets of each. Beautiful, beautiful. And we're going to use a little bit of this tonight. So I want to share that. That's what supplies last. And then there is some amazing designer series paper. I'm going to bring in this one. We are using this particular one today. My package is getting pretty chewed up because I've been using it a lot. So I don't have a lot to share with you. I am going to have to try and reorder if I can. Beautiful, beautiful colors. If you subscribe to my newsletter, I attached a video on how they created these beautiful paper images. It was basically paint on canvas and they photographed it. And it's really quite interesting. Anyway. Oh, hello, Kevin. Hello, Cecilia. Thank you. Thank you for shouting out. This is really crazy for me because I haven't been live since the middle of August. So almost like new jitters and all that good stuff. Anyway, we are going to make 5 cards. They may not be exactly what I'm going to show you right now, but they should be pretty close. Depends on where I cut the paper. But this is a one sheet. No, we're using 2 6x6 double wonder cards. So we're going to create these 5 cards using 2 6x6 pieces of DSP plus some extra stuff and very little stamping, mostly just the greetings that I have decided to use from the stamp set. And this particular accent piece is from the, the hand pen dies that coordinate, has this beautiful stitch scallop. And I did that with the foil paper to bring it in. Now I've pre-cut most of that, but I am going to do 1 cut. Plus on some of the cards, I have the beautiful gems. Oh my goodness. This is also while supplies last. These beautiful ocean inspired blues and greens and sea green gems. It's really hard. You get a bit of a glare there, but they are absolutely gorgeous. Anyway, let's get on to the card making. So, hoping I cut this the same way as I did for the samples that I just showed you. You need to bring in your trimmer, and you can do this with the same paper and use back-to-back patterns, or you could do it with 2 different patterns. So if you had a coordinating suite, I could use this sheet and another sheet as long as the colors coordinated. I chose to use the same one. So you're going to cut it at 6 inches. And then you're going to turn it and cut it at 6 inches again. And then you can do one of 2 things, and it will make a difference on how your layers work out. You can do bold to bold with the subtle, or you can flip it. I believe when I did my samples, I did it like this. And if I'm wrong, well, we'll have some different cards. So you've got 2 6x6. DSP is pretty thin. You can cut 2 sheets together with your trimmer. So the first cut you're going to do is at 6 inches. And then you're going to set your 4x6 aside for a moment. And you're going to turn it. And you're going to cut it at 3 1/4. And then I'm just going to set these off to the side so I don't get them mixed up. So now we have our 4x6 inch piece. We're going to turn it and create 4x4. And remember, I'm cutting 2 layers at the same time, so my paper will all be the same size. Then what I want to do, I'm just going to set that aside for a moment. So I have a 2x4 piece. I'm going to cut this. I'm going to set it up on my right hand side at the 1/2 inch mark and cut through. So I'll have a 1/2x4 and a 1 1/2x4. Okay, everybody with me so far? I know this is lots. Okay, so I want to do an angle cut. So we could very simply do point to point. So if you put it in the track of your cutter, you could do that. But I want to do a bit of an offset. So I'm going to set my points. So this point and my top point. at 1 inch. And close my cutter, and then we have these. Okay, we're done cutting. I have prepared all my card bases and have done a bunch of prep that you didn't need to watch me do. So what I have in card bases is 2 Night of Navy, 2 Coastal Cabana, and 1. Okay, I can't remember the green, Granny Apple Green. Okay, and then I have cut, I'm doing 5 cards, so I've cut 10 pieces of mat that are smaller. So remember, when we do our card bases, I should bring this back because I have some people watching today that aren't maybe that familiar. So when we cut a card base, we typically cut 2 out of an 8.5 by 5.5 piece of cardstock. So a card base is 8.5 by 5.5 and cut or scored at 4.25. So that when we fold it in half, our card front would be 5.5 by 4.25. And we typically, when we're doing things right with all the right tools, we take a bone folder and we make that fold nice and crisp. So the mat layers that I'm using are going to be 1/4 inch smaller, so they're 4 by 5.25. We're going to put 1 on the inside and 1 on the outside to add our decoration to. So that I have done ahead of time, just because we could be here all day if you watch me cut. So next thing we're going to do is actually, the last thing I want to do is just demonstrate, for those who've never seen it before, the cut and emboss machine, which our mini machine is on sale this month till the end of the month. And I'm going to use that die to cut some of these pieces that we're going to use to decorate our cards. So here's our little mini cut and emboss machine. And you're going to want your base, your 1 cutting mat, your die. So here's our die. And a couple of strips of the foil cardstock that I pre-cut. So what you want to remember when you are cutting, especially a long skinny piece like this, is as much as you can, you want to put it on an angle. Just pull this out, and then we put our other plate on the top, and then we just crank it through and it will cut. Those that have never seen this before will find this quite interesting. I know I have at least one person that this is all pretty new to. I'm going to cut, and I've got my cardstock cut a little long, so I'm just going to tear that off. Bring in my snips. I'm going to have to trim these anyway. And let's do that one more time, just to show again. So our foil cardstock and our die, and if your die tends to get a little warped, you can just gently bend it back into shape. Put it on our foil cardstock, put the top plate on. Roll that through. Okay, I think we're done with this machine for today. I'm just going to get it out of the way. And I'm just going to tear off these little pieces. And let's start putting our cards together. This class today is going to be a little longer than usual. I've been away for so long. I thought I owed you a little more. So let us start with this one and this one. So we're going to use our angled pieces. So that's these ones here. Remember, these are doubled up. I'm just going to set these off to the side. So if I want to do this similar to what I did here, it's not going to be similar because I cut my paper different. So we're going to just have to change things up a bit. It all depends on how you lay the paper down on how it's going to come out. So this one's going to end up having two very subtle layers. Well, they might all end up having subtle layers because I probably should have done something different. Oh, don't go that way. Yeah, mine are all going to end up with subtle layers. What I should have done, so when I practiced this on the weekend, is that I should have cut this in half, put them back to back. Actually, let's do that. If you don't mind giving me a minute. Let's recut this. 6x6. And if you want to be able to swap the patterns, what you need to do is have your either your two bolds together or your two subtles together. Totally messed that up, and I apologize. I can do something else with those other ones, not to worry. The danger of doing cutting live. Hi, Tracy. Great to see you tonight. Thank you for joining. Okay, let's do our angle cut. And then I need to do my 1/2 inch off this one. Okay, these should turn out closer to what I have to share, have shown you already. My bad. All right. Try this again. All right, let's, oh goodness, hopefully I don't have these mixed up. All right, so we can have a subtle one. Oh, I think these are the old ones. Okay. Bring in the wrong stuff. That doesn't help, does it? So we can have a bold one or here. Okay, so this is what I was trying to do, and a subtle one down here. So this is, yeah. So if you want to do real contrast or color changes, remember to put your pages face to face or back to back, not the same way up that you cut them. Sorry about the confusion. Okay, and then we'll do this one like this, okay? All right, so a little bit finicky, I guess, lack of a better word. I want to attach this under here before I glue it to one of my faces here. So what I'm going to do is take my liquid glue and put a very fine set of dots. Liquid glue is the best thing when you're adhering to foil. It won't let go, whereas your regular snail type of adhesive will let go over time, sometimes sooner than you think. So we're just gonna glue that on there and give it a minute. And while we're waiting for that to set, make sure I got one layer here, I can glue this one down here. Yeah, I've been scrambling. I've been fighting so much with technology. I had no time to be creative, so I've had a couple of glitches for which I apologize. Okay, so once you think that's fairly set, you can just trim it. I just cut these long so I didn't have to sit there and try and figure out the angles. And then we're going to glue that one up here. And as I said, Kevin, I couldn't have done this without you. Thank you so much. I was ready to pack it in. And then we're going to stamp this message, which is from the stamp set. Our friendship is a thing of beauty. And I did all my stamping in black, or night and navy would work. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to carry on and do it in black, but whatever color you want, whether it's one of the colors in the paper. And then I'm just going to stamp that right in the middle. Yeah. give it a second to dry. So this one's going on one of my Coastal Cabana bases. So those that haven't stamped before, if you have scored, the indent is your top side. Nice and sharp with my bone folder. And then I can attach this to my card base. Now, unlike me, I didn't get all fussy about the insides, which I typically do. Your insides should be decorated and so should your envelopes. But I did not do that for these. But I could always go back. You could add a strip of DSP on the bottom, on the envelope flap. I'm just going to get these inserted so we can call that card done. Except that we do have a little bit of embellishment to add. Okay, so this one here that I did, I added 3 of the rhinestones from the Rhinestones Waves Basics. So I'm going to add 3 to this project, similar to, always want to work in uneven numbers. It gives you balance. So there's that one. So that's our copy of that. Right, let's move those out of the way. And let's do this one. So we're going to take this one. This is going to go on a Night of Navy base. But it's also, we've taken the angled cuts and laid them out differently. A bit of a mess going on here, trying to do 5 cards at once. Okay, so we're going to have a base here like this, but we're going to put one piece this way. And notice I'm going edge to edge because I'm just basically using that piece as a placeholder. And then we're going to put our more muted piece on the bottom to give us this open space. But what I need to do, of course, is add that piece of foil there. So I'm going to just put some dots of glue again. Just be not super generous, but generous enough so that you don't get glue going everywhere. While that is attaching, we will attach this piece to here. Don't stick yet. Not lined up. Shoot. Okay, try this again. I didn't have it lined up very well before it started to stick. Okay, so we've got that piece on. I think this should be good enough that I can now come in and just take your scissors along the edge and trim that just to carry the angle on. That's what you want to do. Okay, and then we're going to put this piece right here. All right. So we have these cute little birds, and I'm going to do a happy birthday. Let's bring in my ink. Let's hope I can keep things straight. I've been pretty lucky so far. It could have been a little more centered, but at least it's not crooked. And let's put some birds on here. Oh, shoot. Oh, well. Got a little bit of an edge in my stamp there, but so be it. And then we're going to attach that there. And then, of course, our piece for the inside, so we could add an additional greeting or write a message to whomever we're going to give this card to. If we wish to further embellish it, we could certainly do that. We could do that with this one. We could add some more birds on the inside after I clean my stamp a little bit. Make sure I got the edge cleaned off, and we can put some birds in here. There we go. All right, so that's the second one is done. So I'm trying to see what way I got these going. I think this is right. All right, so the next layout that we're going to do will be this one. And this is kind of a fussy one with adding, only because I'm adding this piece on the bottom, it makes it a little bit more of a challenge. And I've got some of my papers mixed up, I think. So which way do we want to go? I think this is very similar to what I had here. So I think that would be pretty cool. So what I'm going to do, it's going to take a moment, is I'm just going to put some dots of, I'll move this up here, some dots of glue on the bottom. And put that, and you want to get that on there as straight as you can, because we're actually going to line these two pieces of paper up beside each other. So I'm going to put another piece right here, and we want them to be straight, right? So they line up like that. And we're going to stamp on this one. Your strength is an inspiration. So let's do that while we're waiting for the glue to set up on that one. And we're going to do it in the top part of the piece of paper. So a little different, stamping on the designer series paper directly. Oops. So some little gentle dots of the liquid glue. And as I said before, the liquid glue is the best way to adhere to either foil or glimmer paper. The other glue will let go. So let's give that a minute. And that's going to go on my granny apple green. So while I'm waiting on that, I might as well just glue this to the inside. I want to give it a minute to set up. The beauty of the liquid glue is that it gives you time to move stuff around. But it also means that it can move on you if you don't want it to. Run out of glue, I think, here. I thought I had enough. Our inside in. So this is a landscape card this time, not a portrait card. Okay, I think that hopefully is glued enough that I can trim off my excess. And I'm just going to put a liquid adhesive on this one so I have a little more wiggle room when I'm lining it up. Oh, it would help if I had this. Okay. Oops. I'm getting sticky on the back here, so my work surface is moving. Sorry. Okay. And then this one needs some gems on it as well. So I went for the green gems to kind of go with the green. Oh dear. It moved on me and I didn't see it in time. I wonder if I can. Yeah. Shoot. Should have been paying closer attention. It's moved on me a little bit and not centered like I would like it. And I think I'm too late. Yeah, too late. I am not going to put my gems on this one because I'm not happy. Sorry, it moved on me and I lost it. So you'll notice on this one, I've got gems. Again, an uneven number. All right, let us move on to the last two. So we have this one here, and I am going to do it with this piece and this piece. And then we do a third piece. Remember, we did the little narrow cutoff. And then we'll do it with this one here. So this is a little tricky. These aren't your simplest one or double wonder cards that there could be out there, because there are. And it would be easier if I didn't add all the trim, but I just, you know me, I just wanted to step it up a bit. Not with liquid glue, I don't think, Kevin. It works with the snail, but I don't think it works with the liquid glue. But thank you. I've done that a lot. I'll try it. Maybe later when the video is over. So I added the narrow piece and I'm just going to trim that off and bring in my base and my 1.5 by 4 inch piece. And we'll set that piece about there. So you're going to kind of treat the border here and here similar. And then we have You're Totally Awesome. We're going to stamp on the top of the Designer Series paper. You're so totally awesome. Sorry, I should get that right. Thank you. I thought it was the step up it needed. I can't remember whose video I watched for the cutting instructions, but I just thought the foil gave it a standout. I agree. And then we'll glue this on here. Uh-oh. I'm out of glue everywhere. All right. So, quick lesson. If you don't know how to refill your glue, with this new glue, we want to make sure we clean off anything that's on the edges here when we pull out our refill. And then we can bring in our refill. And they go in quite easily. Oops. They snap in there pretty easily, just like that. I really thought I had checked this out and I had enough glue for the night, including maybe if I was only doing 1 or 2 cards. Okay, so our Coastal Cabana, our other Coastal Cabana base. We want to bring that in. And another thing that you could do if you wanted to is if you had texture embossed the back, it would have given you a different type of feel. But I just wanted the papers to be the standout on these cards. Okay, and then we'll just put a bit of adhesive on here. Set that in there. And then this one also has rhinestones on it for some bling, as you know me. And let's go for the ones that are sort of coastal cabana color, which I think are these ones here. And I just lost my knife. Got a mess going on here. I apologize. All right, so let's see. I've got a medium-sized one, so one like this. Put here, and then two smaller ones. Maybe they need a little bit more over here. Oop, if it wants, and then one over here. So again, very similar. Paper pattern slightly different, but very similar. Okay, I think we're down. Are we at 3 or 4 yet? 1, 2, 3, 3. What else do we got here? We have, oh, we must be at 4. We have this one. So this was a combination of several different shapes to do this one. We're going to have a night and navy base. Okay. We are going to have a bright piece that's going up and down. I'm in a bit of a mess after cutting wrong to start with that there. Of course, under our white matte layer. And then we're going to have one of the longer pieces like this. So this is going to be pretty close to what the original was. And then this. But what I did is I glued the foil piece under the edge of here. So let's do that first. So that it can set up while we attach our other pieces, because there's going to be an overlap. Right? Yeah, that's right. No, that's not right, Sheila. This way. Oh, goodness. Trying to do this and working full time. I don't know. Yeah, that's correct. Oops. So we just set that aside for a moment and let that liquid glue set up. But in the meantime, we can add this piece to our card front. And we can add this piece up in this corner. All right, we'll trim this one. So we're going to put that one on there like that. I'm actually going to use, let me get some of the scrap out of my way. I'm going to use liquid glue just so I have a little bit of wiggle time. That is the beauty of the liquid glue, is it gives you placement time. I usually can make a big mess with it, so I don't use it that often unless I have to. But I find that sometimes there's times you have to. There's our original. My paper has, my base here has glue on it, so things are getting a little sticky. So this is another one where I use the "You're So Totally Awesome" stamp on here. And then I'm going to add some birds, and I hope I don't have a ring on here. There we go. And again in threes or uneven numbers for balance. And then we should be able to adhere that to our card face. So the weight layer that we used on the fronts was basically just to give us a placeholder for all the other pieces, almost a little bit like a paper piecing technique, if you will. But yeah, and then of course another piece on the inside. Oh, thank you, Tracy. That's very sweet. Yeah, well, I always need bling on my cards. Sometimes it needs double bling, so foil and rhinestones. And this one, you could have some birds on the inside like I did before. And those could go on your envelope. I did not prepare envelopes for this project, but they will need some eventually. Okay, so I think I have them all done. Let me double check. Let me do my inventory. Okay, so we have this one and this one. Just that one. We have this one. That's not that one, which is this one, and this one, which is this one, and then these ones. Yes, so we have all 5 cards done. So I don't know, how long have we been here? 40 minutes? We did 5 cards in 40 minutes. Now, give the prep time. If you're planning, you're organized, you could probably do these 5 cards in an hour if you had it all kind of figured out in your head what you thought you wanted to do. Absolutely love this paper. This paper is only while supplies last, till May 1st or while supplies last. I did not double check today to see what the inventory was like on that. I haven't heard any chatter that it's out of stock, but also the Stampin' Cut and Emboss, the mini one, is on sale until the end of March. If you want anything that you saw me share with you today, please go on over and order through my website. You can get to it easily through my regular website, parklandstamper.com. And if you use the host code that's shown on the screen, I will most certainly send you a little special something if your order is $60 or over. Thank you for joining me for my first Facebook Live in more than 6 months anyway. I'm hoping to be back on a regular Thursday schedule. I can't do daytimes anymore, although I may schedule the odd one to post during the day, depending on what my life looks like, I guess. I'm really trying to get classes going again. I appreciate that so many people are a little nervous about what COVID is doing. And the government right now is saying, oh, we could have like, what is this going to be, wave 5 or 6 coming? I don't know. Anyway, I am back in business. I have a full classroom set up for 8 to 10 people, and I would be more than happy to have you join me for some stamping time in my classroom. And I am going to start putting forward again some class in the mail if that's more your comfort zone. Thank you so much for joining me tonight for my relaunch of my Facebook Lives. Have a great night. I really do appreciate that you followed me. Thanks. Have a great night. Bye.